Hi, Sharks. My name is Destin George Bell. I'm from Austin, Texas. I'm the founder and CEO of Cardio, a gamified fitness app, and I am seeking $150,000 for 5% of my company. Sharks, cardio kind of sucks. Maybe you're a treadmill guy or girl who doesn't love running in place, staring out of a window or at a wall while numbers tick up on a display. Great time.
Hamster life.
Or maybe the jump rope, because who doesn't love jumping in place, staring at a wall, looking semi-athletic, hopefully, as you sweat for 5 to 10 minutes, hoping you're burning some calories. But today, I am here to do the impossible, make cardio suck a whole lot less. And we're doing that with Cardio, a gamified fitness app turning your outdoor cardio into a giant game of turf war. Let me show you how that works. So let's say you're an athletic guy like Mark, and you decide you're gonna go for a run today. Now, of course, Mark's going to do his 4 miles. That's pretty easy for the Cuban man. And as you finish, you'll see the area of town you ran through. But Lori, always wanted to steal a deal, decides that she wants to run that same exact area to show Mark up. It's turning it into a giant game of turf war. Think capture the flag, but where the city streets, neighborhood roads, and hiking trails are areas that you compete to claim against other people in your city as a team. So as you see here, as Lori moves to this area, that'll actually go from Cardio Green to Shark Tank Blue while tracking all of her stats. And as you move, you'll see that the Shark Tank logo will actually start to move into the places that the cardio team used to have it. Now, once Lori decides to finish up her run, of course, running a little bit faster than Mark, she's going to finish up, see all of her stats, and then she'll end her route. That'll upload into our system. She'll be able to see tracker for all the places and times that she's run.
Love
now
it.
Let's flash back to Mark. He'll see that Shark Tank logo didn't used to be there. And he'll go to his phone and say, wow, Lori stole 109 blocks from my team. He'll click on that, see the specific areas of town that Lori went through, how fast she went, and to get it back, you guessed it, he's gonna have to go out there and start hauling his butt over that way. Sharks, who wants to get out of the pool and hit the streets with me and the cardio crew?
What is going on? We are back to another season of Shark Tank. I am your host, Dave, a 10-year intellectual property attorney dealing with everything from trademarks, copyrights, trade secrets, as well as patents. This is actually a pretty interesting. I love these kind of apps, if you will, that have this kind of gamified function as part of it. One that comes to mind, and I actually interviewed the co-founder a couple months ago, so definitely go check that out on the actual the YouTube channel. Overplay. And again, it essentially you can create a video and it turns that video into a game. And I think that was one of the more amazing, not only pitches that I heard on Shark Tank, but just being able to interview her, the co-founder. I don't know. I thought it was a game changer. And I as I do these things, I look to see which one of these companies that, I do want to invest in, because I am an investor as well. So that one was one that stood out. But again, here we is, another one, Cardio, and I actually like the name with the card and then a dot, then the IO. I actually like that play on words there. And it seems like he's doing some cool things with, we all know, my 3 things that I look for. How simple is it? Seems like the app, for the most part, I'm going to give him, okay, I'm going to check that box. It seems to be, for the most part, simple. How effective is it? We'll hear that here in a little bit based on what's the reviews looking like, how many people are signing up to actually use the app. That's all going to go towards how effective is the product. And then last but not least, what's the market? And it seems like, again, we all know that the cardio market is a huge market. And I like the fact that even though I don't even consider it as being a saturated market, but it's a big market that I think is opportunity in, obviously. So that's one of the cool things. So again, it's simple. How effective is it? And what's the market looking like? And if all 3 of those are right, I think you stand to have a pretty good company, if you will. So that's some of the things, and keeping on the lookout for as we go through these pitches and see whether or not, okay, is it simple? Is it effective product? What's the market looking like? Kind of try to keep track of those things and kind of give your scores to it, or leave the comments to kind of these different things in the comment section. I'll be interested in hearing from you guys. As an IP attorney with these software apps, I always think, okay, do they have, and Lori is the one that typically asks the question of, do you have patent protection for it? A lot of people don't know that even though it's a software company or it's an app, you can get patent protection on it. Now, it may be a little bit difficult or a little bit more challenging or a little bit more hurdles that you have to overcome compared to something such as mechanical invention or a process and things like that. But software apps, which a lot of people don't know, can be protectable via a patent. And to the extent that you kind of have that IP protected, I just think you stand a chance to get more investors and just, again, continue to build that moat so that people keep others away. Keep others away. That's the name of the game, to be able to kind of build your brand while keeping others from kind of your space. I absolutely hate kind of running in place. And I'm saying this after I just came back from the gym. But at the same time, I don't necessarily like just kind of running around a circle, for example, say on a track. So this kind of running kind of throughout the street and kind of maybe making it a little bit more gamified. This actually seems pretty interesting. So let's hear what the Sharks have to say about it and see how many downloads or users he has. And again, kind of let me know what you guys think. How simple is the product, how effective is the product, and what's the market like, keeping those things in mind. Let's go.
So how are you navigating, separating yourself from other apps?
That's where the gamification comes in, right?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. So with these other trackers, they are focused on usually goal-oriented, performance-based running. With our app, we incorporate social gamification and dynamicism, where every time you go out there, the map looks a little bit different. It's just like a sports game. Do I want to run the same route I did before? I have a person on my team who ran that route. Maybe I should go to a different part of town. We got 22,000 users in 70 countries, and we've had people tell us. We do. We have 22,000 users in 70 countries. We have 14,000 active, 400 run clubs that have signed up their groups, and one corporate wellness pilot with Oracle.
Are those free downloads? What is the revenue model?
Yeah, so freemium model, we bring people in. Again, most of you didn't know what I even meant by a turf war. So the thing is, we got to get them in, get them to fall in love with it. The retention rates are shown they have. We have a 34% day 30 retention.
Are those free downloads or subscription? Like, free, just walk me through this.
Yeah, free downloads. Free downloads.
22,000 free downloads.
The premium subscriptions, which is where the revenue comes from, is from those groups. Like I said, it's a team-based game.
How much?
Teams, $25 a month. We target run clubs with organized dues and memberships.
What was your revenue last month?
Last month, 4,000.
Okay, so how are you going to get that from 4,000 to 400,000?
The biggest thing right now is opening the doors to the places that we need to be. We have already partnered with the San Francisco Marathon, Austin Marathon, and the...
When you say partnership,
yes.
What does that entail?
These are run clubs that are using it as a way to engage and track data, which is why we've incorporated the ability to schedule events. So you're able to schedule and say, hey, we're going to go on a run at Peace Park at 7 p.m. They have the ability to have a team chat. Kudos for people to say, hey, nice run.
Well, that's cool right there, right?
Exactly.
How much have you raised so far?
Started the business June 2022. We have raised $470K as of now. Primarily, that was from $150K in grants from Pokemon Go. I actually said, so basically, I got this idea during COVID. Like, I was broke as a joke. I was living in my car in Austin, Texas, trying to figure this out. I'm not an engineer. I tried to teach myself how to. Didn't work very well. Wouldn't have looked as nice as it did here. So I started DMing engineers. I DM'd 400. All of them said no, but one of them was the founding engineer for Pokemon Go, and he loved my moxie. He said, I'm going to drop the CEO of Pokemon Go's email here. Do what you want with it. I'm not allowed to make an intro, but I can give it to you. Shoot your shot. So I shot him an email. This is May of 2021. 2 months later, he responded. And here's the funny part. I got on a call. He wasn't on it. It was 3 of his other people, and they only took the call because he made them take it. Then they said no, but I said, well, I know you read them now. So I sent him an email every week for the next 3 months until eventually he said, all right, kid, here's a 50K grant. Get out of my inbox and keep working on it.
Let me just tell you.
Look it, man, and I have to stop it, man. Kudos to this guy. And one of the things that I love, again, I would definitely have to reach out to this guy and see if I can get him on a podcast. And one of the things I love about doing these interviews when I'm sitting down one-on-one with investors such as this gentleman is, man, the stories is always amazing. And it's always, it kind of put things in perspective. And one of the things, at least in my opinion, how I look at it is, if you don't stop, if you don't quit or stop, I should say, you stand a better chance to win. This guy was literally living out his cart. And again, DM and engineers trying to kind of figure out this thing. Again, a lot of people, just because and I'm assuming that he knows a lot more as it relates to the app and the software and things like that he did coming in. But a lot of times you're going to have different people that kind of plays their role. Even as a CEO, you can't do everything. And the fact that this guy, again, DM and engineers, essentially got a 50K grant as a result of his just kind of persistence and resilience, which I think Mark was going to kind of clap it up for him on that, because that's major kudos right there, which I kind of was saying to my earlier point. If you don't quit, you're not saying that you're going to be 100% and make $1 million, but you stand that much better of a chance to be successful in some capacity. But again, going back to the engineer part, again, just DMing people, especially in the areas that you are not maybe qualified or expert in. Obviously, again, the guy said he wasn't an expert engineer. I'm assuming that he's talking about a software engineer trying to put together the app, even though he had the vision and the ideal for it, and him being able to work with these engineers to, at some point or ultimately be able to build an app. That's what I think gets lost a lot in whether it's just the story overall. A lot of people like the X's. Okay, he made 100 million selling, and that's cool. But again, it's that kind of that resilience, that persistence, that being able to kind of get the right team around you to be successful. I talked earlier in the show about the Overplay, the interviewing the co-founder, and again, her as well as the CEO, they weren't software people, but again, they hired software engineers to develop the app. And again, a lot of times that's what happened. And this guy, I mean, it seems like Overplay, they maybe had the money to kind of bring people on board initially, and then they had to go raise. But this guy, from the beginning, he's been out hustling. And again, man, that excites me, because as long as you don't stop, man, you just stand that much more chance to win. And then people such as Mark and other sharks here, they're gonna respect the hustle, because they know, hey man, we got a killer. We got somebody who is not gonna play around, and he's not gonna stop at any means necessary. So I would imagine that, and I haven't seen this. I react to these things in real time so I can get my authentic thoughts. But I would imagine as I take it back on a Shark Tank, and the Sharks, they're gonna say, hey man, not only kudos for it, but again, that resonates with them, because they're going to say, man, we know this guy, he's not going to stop. He's a killer. And that's what you were looking for when you were investing in people. For me, I talked about earlier, I try to invest $25,000 just twice a year into some of these people that I interview, their companies. And one of the things that I look for is, man, is this person a killer? Is they going to do everything in their power to make sure this company's successful? Or are they kind of in and out? They don't really care. Them the type of, I'm trying to kind of gauge that as I'm interviewing people. And this guy, he's definitely seems like he's a killer. So kudos to him. Let's kind of finish up this thing and then take a look at the website before we're out.
That's brilliant, and I hate you, because now everybody out there is going to send us 600 emails a week.
That is really amazing. I always say the dream is free and the hustle is sold separately.
Love it.
Right? The only problem that I have here is that there are two things that are not in my wheelhouse at all. Running and gaming. I would not bring enough benefit to what you're doing. So I'm sorry. I'm out.
That's all right. Thank you, Lori. By the way, my mom says you're her favorite.
Oh,
but you're on her second favorite. You're on her second favorite.
How did you come up with the 3 million valuation, 150K, 5%?
I got that valuation from the fact that investors wrote us those same terms that we've raised on currently as of last month. But more importantly, I'm projecting the future of where we're going to be. The thing you're buying today is not going to be worth what it's worth today forever.
Everybody that's ever stood there said the same thing.
And some of them were right, and I think I'm one of them.
That's a good answer.
That's true.
Justin, going for the kill.
It's not a deal for me. It's not a deal for me. Your 4K it's the beginning of proof of concept. I don't think there's enough data for me to pull the trigger on this. Interesting presentation. I'm out.
The problem with this kind of business is you are always stressed, because if you don't have critical mass, the whole thing doesn't work.
But the thing is, the critical mass is created through the team signing up. It's not about them competing against other teams. It's, I have a group of people.
No, and you want them,
people.
I get that, right? Right. You've got to keep enough teams, or everybody thinks there's no app, right? Or that it doesn't work. But I just don't know how I can help you scale that, right? I just don't see it as a fit for me, my guy. I'm sorry. So for those reasons, I'm out.
All right. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate you, man.
What is really driving you to be successful right now? What is that thing that's inside of you that's really pushing you?
My mom is out there right now. I used to have a really bad lisp and a stutter, and I was a bad public speaker. I was 10 years old. I was watching the show before you were even on it, Mark. And my mom said, I want you to watch this show and see how people present. And I watched it like every Friday and Sunday, like from like 10 to 16. At 16 is when I first really started getting into business, and I told my mom, we're going to be on this show one day, Mom, and I'm going to bring you. She's back there waiting for me to give her a deal.
I love that.
And I'm creating generational wealth, and I want my kids to have something. So I'm here to do that. And I told my mom I wouldn't walk out of here with a deal. So what do you want from me, Rashawn?
So I want to go in with Jamin, because I think you're a great salesperson. And I think you can become a good business person. I think you need mentors, you need strategy, you need access to capital. And I've done over 100 software investments. That's just kind of my thing. And I really enjoy doing it. And I enjoy mentoring young founders, especially guys that remind me of myself, that have that grit.
I got to be part of this, and I don't care how I'm part of this. And I love your energy. I did the same thing. I just did it with a phone, 40 years ago. I made 50 calls a day for 6 months until people picked up. And the first half of them said no. And, 3 months later, they said, you're not going anywhere. And I said, nope. And then they started to write checks or recommend me to go other places. So I love that.
So 1 + 1 = 5 in this situation here. Now keep that in mind.
Okay.
150,000, but we need 15%.
Why are you waiting?
How would you feel about 10%?
No, Justin.
I love it.
No, and it's interesting. So you got to respect them, and hopefully they can settle on 12.5% or something like that. But again, you making $4,000. Again, he had what I think we said 44,000 or something users. But again, he's going to try. He's going to try. He's not going to. You got to respect the hustle, and I think he's getting some great partners if this deal does go through between Rashawn and Damon. And again, they see. I don't know, man. I like this kid and the fact that these guys, because again, the proof of concept is early on in this company, and the proof of concept is just starting to get there. But I mean, again, because we all know Kevin, he's Mr. Wonderful, is one of those guys. If it make dollars, it doesn't make sense. If it makes sense, it makes dollars. However that saying goes. But Mr. Wonderful, typically, if he can kind of find some way to get some money, he's going to be involved. And I think the reason that he was out is because it just was too early on in the process. But getting somebody who's like, okay, we know it's early on, but man, you're a great salesman, and I know you just got that dog in you. You're not going to stop. So with a little bit business mentorship, and then we have some equity stake in there, this thing could be big. And I hope this thing goes through between Damon and Rashawn, 10%. And you know he's going to try, but I think he's going to, whether it's 12%, 15%, it's a good deal for the kid. The guy does seem like he's a young kid too. It doesn't seem like he's that old. Probably in his 20s something. So good for him. Let's go.
I love the guy.
Dustin, come on, man.
No, but I love the guy's hustle. I love it.
So I'm going to repeat 15% for $150,000, and you're going to get 10 more things because you're going to get Damon and I.
By the way, I can hear your mother screaming, take the deal,
Yes,
Bozo.
I can too.
Take the deal.
I have one question to ask you, all right? And I don't want the deal to be gone if I ask it. Can I go talk to my mom?
I think you should bring your mom out.
Bring her out.
I think she needs to hear the story.
Bring her out.
I wanna go get my mom.
I guarantee she's going to say,
Bring her
take
out.
the deal.
Mom, come here.
All right.
Oh, I love this guy, man.
Come here.
Hey, Mom.
She's actually my sister.
Clearly.
Hey, Mom.
Mom, you heard all that, right?
I did. What do you think?
What do you
You're
think?
right. I was back there saying, boy, let's do the deal.
Mom, talk some sense into your son.
Let's do the deal. Rashawn, Damon, you got a deal.
Good for him, man. The saying I was trying to get to earlier, if it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense. Hey, man, good for this guy, man. He seems young. He definitely has that dog in him. He's definitely swole too, man. I'd be interested on whether or not he played some ball back in the day, or if he's just, just a workout guru, if you will. But I mean, good for him. Let's take a look at the website here really quickly. Lori, I know Lori, she's typically the one that asks about the IP. She didn't get to it, which is cool. Actually, I need to see if he has a trademark on this thing as well. Let's see here. There we go, him and his mom. Cardio. See, that's what I'm saying. I said this in my last. I said this in my last piece, so I'm not going to kind of belabor the point or badger the point. But when you're kind of building your brand, building these companies, again, to the extent that you can get a patent on something, get a patent on it. That's only going to help you and help out raising money from investors. But I think one of the biggest things with starting a business and branding is your trademark, because people are that's going to help people identify your goods and services. And that's the whole point of trademark. So when you're thinking about, okay, a name that you're trying to come up with for a company, for your company, make sure it's protectable and something that you can get a trademark on and kind of build on it. I'm on a test database, just kind of did a quick search on cardio, the way it's spelled, and I don't see anything coming up on a website, obviously, as you don't see the TM or the R in the circle, which lets me believe at the very least he should be at the end of the cardio here. He should have the TM just to let people know he's using it in a trademark sense. And to the extent that it was registered, you should put the R in the circle. But the fact that he's not doing neither, I just don't like that, because again, you want to put people on notice that you are using this in a trademark sense. And to the extent that it's protectable, you need to be protecting it via a registered trademark, but not doing either. I'm not even sure if he can get it, but to the extent that he can, then he needs to. But if he can't, again, that's something that you should be doing at the beginning as you're coming up with a name for your company to say, okay, can I even protect his name? Because to the extent that you can't protect it, I would probably recommend or advise to go with a name or a slogan or whatever the case may be that you can protect. Again, it'll be interesting to see whether or not he plans on protecting the term cardio, which is what card.io. Again, I actually like the spelling. I think that's a cool way to put it. But again, it doesn't appear that he's protecting it, as I don't see a actual trademark application filed, which is I don't know, that's interesting. But again, it does. I'm not sure if this one has patents associated with it. It didn't come up. Lori's the one that typically asks about the patents. That didn't come up. I wouldn't be surprised. Like I said, these software companies and apps can be protectable if it is doing something that's different and new compared to what's out there. I've seen a ton of apps as it relates to kind of running and things like that, and kind of keep a track of, like the gentleman said, your different your speed and your pace and all that stuff. But I haven't seen anything that's kind of more so gamified. So that may be something that he can come at as it relates from a patent perspective. I'm gonna definitely try to get this guy on the podcast and interview him and just kind of see if that's something that he thought about. Because I do think to the extent that it is protectable, he needs to be protecting it. And it'll be interesting to see, because he got $150,000 worth of grants and another 3 something that was raised. So where did that go? I'm assuming that kind of go to these engineers to build out the actual app. I like to see the house being built on great foundation, and part of that great foundation is having your IP protected, whether it's trademarks, whether it's patents, whether it's copyrights. And then, because again, once you become successful, somebody's going to try to kind of take you. This is a little bit harder to rip off compared to other things. But again, I do want to see that you have your house, or you're building your house on solid foundation. And part of that solid foundation is having your IP protected. So let me know what you guys think about it. I think, again, it appears to be a simple app. The effectiveness of it is growing. 2 years, it's been out 2 years. He seems like he got tens of thousands of users. So that's good. It's growing. And as it relates to the market, we are trying to get healthy. We are trying to find ways to be able to kind of get our cardio in and do it without it being boring, or not without it being just like feeling like a job or a chore. And I think there's one way that you can do it, and I think it's different from what's out there. So I like the fact that from a market perspective, yeah, the market is big and he's bringing something different to the market. And this guy's a dog. This guy is a dog, and kudos for his mama for supporting him every step of the way, and kudos for the deal, man. We'll definitely be on the lookout for this guy going forward. Let me know what you think in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. And to the extent that you like this type of content, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. I'm trying to provide you not only the entertainment, kind of breaking down these Shark Tank episodes from an IP attorney's perspective who has 10 years in the game, but also I'm trying to provide some value talking about the trademarks, the patents, the different forms of IP that you need to be thinking about, especially at the beginning when you're starting a company. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Catch you later. Peace.